and welcome to this first episode of Series 2 of the Build Your Author Brand podcast. Today, I'm really delighted to introduce to the podcast and to my listeners a fantastic self-published author who has worked with me for a couple of years. She's one of my favourite authors. This is Pauline Tait, who is an award-winning and best-selling author and writing mentor to children's authors. Pauline lives and writes in Perthshire in Scotland. She writes both romantic suspense novels and children's picture books. And although both genres couldn't be more different, Pauline says they are both a pleasure to write. Pauline's award-winning children's picture book trilogy, The Fairy in the Kettle, has seen Pauline travel the country as she encourages younger generations in their reading and writing. She's currently working on her latest romantic suspense series set on the Isle of Skye. Hello, Pauline Tait. It's such a wonder to have you on my podcast. Thank you so much for coming on and joining me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thrilled to be here.
So, Pauline, we know each other well. We've worked together for at least a couple of years now, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, January 2021.
Wow. Yeah. So I wonder whether you could start by just telling us a bit about your author journey so far. So what's kind of brought you to where you are now?
Where I am now, I was first published in 2016 with my first picture book, The Fairy in the Kettle. At that point, I'm sitting in my little office, not known a soul, know nobody in the publishing world, know nothing about publishing, not having a clue that once my book got out there that I'd have to actively market it. And no one to even get marketing experience from. So I was just this I felt this tiny fish in a big ocean, sitting in my little corner of the world, writing away, doing my thing. And it was a big step, taking that first step into publishing. What is a big step, and it's a brave step. And then, we fast forward. So that was 2016. We fast forward. We're at 2024. I'm an award-winning and best-selling children's author and romantic suspense novelist. I mentor other children's authors, and I'm an editorial manager for a writing magazine. So my author journey has taken me on a route that I never, ever imagined it would. So when I think back to me sitting here in 2016, knowing nothing and knowing nobody, I can't quite believe that I have got, it's fantastic that I'm sitting here now with books out in two genres and successfully selling books in two genres, which again is really a good achievement. So yeah, and loving it, absolutely loving it, and loving the people that you meet along the way. Publishing world, marketing, it's a lovely world if you just follow the path that's right for you. People are there and it's great, and you can achieve and you can do, and it's amazing that I'm sitting here now doing what I'm doing.
Well, I think your story is going to be really inspirational for lots of authors listening. So we'll get into your journey a little bit more. But as obviously I've worked with you on building your author brand, as I call it. So how would you describe your author brand? And I know that there will be loads of authors who will find it interesting that you are, as you said, successfully writing and selling in two quite different genres. So maybe tell us a bit about that as well.
Yeah, and that was when I was writing the children's books, I had this other story churning about in my head, the first novel that I brought out, A Life of Their Own, and it was it was here and it was desperate to come out, and I'm thinking I should be writing another children's book, but no, the brain had decided that this novel was the one I had to write next. And I remember you and I had a chat about it, and I said, they say you should stay in your lane, you should stay in your lane, you should stay in your lane, and your readers need to know what's coming next, and that is true. But because I write children's books and romantic suspense, they've actually successfully merged together, and that they cross-sell, because the children that are coming to any of my events are coming with adults, and they're saying, oh, you write romantic suspense, let me see. Or the adults who come to my events, oh, you write children's, but well, I've got a daughter, I've got a granddaughter, I've got a grandson, so I have a niece and nephew. So I was really scared about damaging the brand that I was successfully building by branching out into writing romantic suspense. But actually, it's probably strengthened my brand. My children's books are, as they should be, full of positive morals. We're, talking friendship, kindness, helping each other, being true to yourself. My novels, because I was breaking away from writing children's books, I thought I've got to show that I can do this and put out something that's really, I'm not scared to tackle a serious subject. So I chose domestic abuse for the first book, dissociative amnesia for the next book, getting over grief for the third book, all through romance and happy endings and whatnot. But again, I'm helping, I'm inspiring, I'm giving hope. So that is definitely my author brand. And then when I went into the mentoring side, again, I'm helping people. So my brand is very much about being passionate and inspiring others, whether it's our younger generations in their own reading and writing through what I do with my children's books, or whether it's the topics I choose to write about with my novels, or helping other authors. I'm all about helping other people and being true and authentic to the characters, to whatever I throw at them in the stories. I like to write engaging characters, but I do like to give them a little hurdle that they have got to get over when it comes to the romantic suspense. And it's been true and credible to those stories, being true and credible to the locations. So it's about helping each other and being authentic and true. Is my author brand.
How much confidence does that give you to be able to kind of encapsulate your author brand in that way?
Huge. I mean, taking the when I first started out, I had no idea what my brand was. Initially, the children's brand came from because I had worked with children who needed extracurricular support and literacy. So I know what engages young children. I know what will keep a young reader. So it was all about that. But transforming, sort of merging the brand to also encompass the romantic suspense, having managed to do that and having managed to do it successfully without there's been no jolt in the road kind of thing, that gives me huge confidence, because it doesn't matter where I am, what position I'm in, who I'm talking to, the brand story is here, just ready to come out. It's almost like a scene that you would play out in a play. You've said it that often that it becomes almost autopilot. You know your answer. You answer in a different way because you're asked in a different way, but the information that you are hoping to portray is the same. So you by default end up having this pre-planned response up here, ready to deliver at a moment's notice. When you're going into events and things, you're prepared. If someone stops you in the street, you're not prepared. So being able to have this and confidently just say, yeah, well, blah, blah, and just sail through it smoothly is huge. It impacts your day-to-day, just being an author and your confidence and how you go about it, but it also impacts hugely on how you publicize yourself, how you put yourself forward when you're pitching. We're coming to late summer. It was very much Christmas in July. I've been pitching away about for my Christmas children's book. So it's all planning ahead. And and I was realizing this year that actually it just comes off the bat. It's so just instantaneous now to be able to sell yourself, which is basically what you're doing, and to pitch yourself in a confident way, but in a way that makes complete sense to the person receiving this on the other end. It's business-like, it's as it needs to be for the industry, it's on point. And it's not this big worry where, way back, go back to 2017, and I'm sitting in front of my laptop thinking, how am I going to word this? How am I going to word this? Who will I send it to? What should I include? What should I attach? All these unknowns, whereas now you just deliver it off the bat. And when you have an author brand that is true and authentic to yourself, then it doesn't matter what you're doing, you just fall under that brand naturally. So it's a very safe cushion to have your your author brand pinned right down, because it does shape how you move forward and how you interact with people. And you come across as more credible, more confident, more on it, more knowing your stuff.
I just wanted to pause the conversation in today's episode just briefly because I'd love to let you know about something new that I'm bringing to authors, an offer to work with me this month. We begin very soon with a new mastermind program. If you would bear with me just for a minute, I'd love to tell you about it. The Build Your Author Brand Mastermind program is a 10-week online course that gives you time with my eyes on your author brand and your work and your books to take you to your next level of success. In a small group setting, you'll be treated to a series of modules with pre-recorded material for you to watch in your own time, plus live masterclasses with me and also my guest mentors who I will be introducing for the first time in this program. We begin on the 15th of October. I would absolutely love to welcome you to this next cohort of the 10-week Build Your Author Brand Mastermind program. In 10 weeks, you will master your author brand. Involving all of the different elements, we will figure out exactly what strategies and stories are going to work best for you in presenting yourself as an author and your books to your ideal reader. Don't miss this round of the course. We'll be running on the 15th of October. And if you DM me on Instagram or on LinkedIn or TikTok, I will reply with your special offer. Don't miss out on this offer. If you are listening to the podcast, please DM me, tell me you've listened to the podcast, and you will claim your special offer. This is for authors of non-fiction and fiction, whatever stage of the journey you are currently at. But we will be taking you to the next level of growing your readership, raising your profile, and selling your books. For all the details of the program, go to www.buildyourbrandwithpr.com. Which is wonderful to hear, and this is what I want authors to feel and to have when they have identified and articulated their author brand. And how does it impact you in terms of, because something I talk to authors a lot about is how well do they know their readers, and do you feel like you have got to know your readers well now over the last
Yeah.
year?
Yes. Yeah. When I first started, with the children's books, I didn't really know who my readers, well, I knew the age group that I was focusing my books to, but in order for these children to see these books, there needed to be an adult to buy it. There needed to be an adult seeing my marketing and my pitching. So yes, I do exactly know who my audience is. And funnily enough, that has, I was actually talking about that last week, because I've not long finished a Waterson's tour with my latest novel, A Life Anna's Promise, the latest one. And I've had some Waterson's events. I've had actually some closed library events where book groups have come in, and the age groups coming to these have been exactly who I have thought I was pitching to. So that has been quite good to see. So I know that I am hitting the sort of the 35 to 65 age range, maybe slightly more above, but I'm definitely getting the young mums and I'm getting the grandparents for both genres. And reading, the young mums are reading my romantic suspense. The grandparents are buying my children's books as well as reading the romantic suspense. So I'm really lucky in how my audience has gelled. But yeah, I absolutely know who my audience is. And that is a big game changer too. Because when you start out, you think, how am I going to know who my audience is? I can't see who's buying my books. But all of a sudden the penny drops and you do realise, and it's through your marketing and your PR that you understand that. You're not in shops seeing when people are buying your books. You're not sitting beside somebody on their laptop or their phone as they order your book. So it has got to be through your social media and your shop window, which social media and media, whether it be newspapers, magazines, online, that is our shop window. And once you've nailed that, and once you know who is on the other side of that, you know your audience.
So tell us a bit more about, because so we've heard about, you've got the successful children's books, you've now got a successful novel series that you're just releasing the third book in that series, Anna's Promise. But tell us where your author brand has taken you now in terms of other ways that you are working as an author. Tell us a bit more about the business side of things.
The business side, well, my author business has developed to have three strands. So I am the children's author and an award-winning, and then I'm the best-selling romantic suspense novelist, and now I'm a writing mentor. And if you'd asked me back in 2016, would you ever think you would do that? I'd be like, oh my goodness, no, I couldn't do that. But it was a light bulb moment with that, actually, because over the years, people have been getting in touch with me, asking me for help, whether it's been with their manuscript, whether it's been with children's picture books, internal layout or the covers, whether it's been, some techie spec about the publication process. And I've had been naturally just helping. Again, I think this comes back from me working in the school and working with children who needed the extra help. It's who I am. It's something I really enjoy doing. So I had been doing that. That increased over lockdown, and that was fine. We weren't doing much else at that time. We came out of lockdown, the world picked up again, events started again, and I was also writing, and the authors coming forward for help. The numbers were gaining, and I'm thinking, I don't want to stop this, but I need to take control of it. How could I take control of it? I'll officially start the mentoring side of my business. And that has been brilliant. The one joy about being an author and working for yourself, you're in charge of your own diary. So I have a day a week where I try to keep it to that day a week of the week for the mentoring the clients. If somebody can't do that day of the week, then yeah, we work something else out. But I've managed to get it now so it's manageable and it fits in with my writing, and doesn't take away from that. It doesn't take away from me going out doing events, which is crucial. But it has unexpectedly just sort of flourished in a way, to the point that I started with mentoring sessions, and that's been great. I've had to tweak it slightly. So I had said I would mentor children's authors, and that was purely because I wanted to keep the word count down so that it wasn't taken away from my writing time. I've had to tweak it again. So it's not children's picture books and chapter books. I now just focus on picture books, which has much more to it. There's so many techie specs involved in a picture book than the authors just don't know about. So I have streamlined the mentoring side of my business to help authors through the varying stages, whether it is perfecting their manuscript and pulling on my experiences working with children who needed help, and how to write an engaging story, working on the layouts. There are so many tricks to your internal layout to make a story and a picture book engage even the most reluctant of readers. And then the publishing world, sort of the publishing process, or are they preparing to submit to agents and publishers? I'll help them with that too. But it has been super, and the authors have come to me needing help in any of those stages. But what has developed out of it, and unexpectedly again, if I think back to me in 2016, never did I think it, but here is me now offering a 6-week programme. It's a signature programme, and I take authors from the very beginning from perfecting their manuscript and knowing their genre, knowing their age group, because everybody says, oh yes, I'm writing a picture book for 5 to 8 years. But yes, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, there's a big literacy difference in there. where are you going? Are you going 5 to 6? Are you going 7 to 8? So helping authors really pin down on their audience, making sure their vocabulary is there, their oral flow, nailing their manuscript to get it to a traditionally published standard. And we do that with the layout, and we do it with the covers, and they get the tricks to make their cover, what elevates a self-published book to a traditionally published standard. And we go right through to publishing. And authors who have worked with me have held Waterson's events, have their books on the physical shelves in Waterson's, and have won awards. So thoroughly enjoying doing my course as well. So this is my author business. It has the three arms that sit with me. It's exactly what I want to be doing, but they also sit under my author brand of helping, empowering, inspiring, guiding. It's all sitting under my brand, and branching out and doing the mentoring side has not affected my author brand at all. It has just slipped right in.
Mm. It's amazing to hear the success that you're having with that, because I think some authors are, well, first of all, authors are quite nervous about, in terms of marketing their books and their work, they're nervous about how much time often they need to spend in doing the marketing. And obviously you've worked with me for a while. Your marketing and publicity has ramped up and up and up, hasn't it? And I think a lot of authors, they imagine that and they think, oh, this is going to take me away from writing time. How am I possibly going to be able to write books? And obviously now you've also added this additional mentoring side of the business, of your author business as well. So what would you say about that kind of fear of how much time people have for?
I would say, yeah, that was me back at the start, because as an author you just want to be writing, but you can't. You've got to be in, there are thousands of books out there coming out, millions of books out there with thousands, hundreds of thousands coming out, year after year. Your book has to stand out, and it won't stand out if no one knows about it. So you have to do the marketing side. So structure, planning, and just being in control of your diary will be elements that people aren't so keen on. With me, it's the techie stuff, but it's just put away a certain amount of time every week. For me, it's quite often a Thursday morning. If I'm mentoring, it doesn't often start till maybe 10 or 11 o'clock. I've got 2 hours there to be sort of thinking about next week's posts and scheduling posts. So it's all about planning ahead, and your marketing is planning ahead. And depending on what element you're planning, are you planning for next week, next month, or 6 months down the line? So if you are planning and looking ahead, and the goals, and when you have to start pitching that goal, then it is much smoother. And when I know that I have got my scheduled time for planning, then I can relax about that. I can just focus on writing days and writing time. I don't have to think, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. It's okay. I have that scheduled in my diary for further down the week. So it's all about planning. It is manageable. It gets easier. Posting on social media can be quite difficult for some people. The more you do it, the easier it gets. I wasn't really on social media before. Now I know I've got to be on it all the time. It's our shop window, to our author brand, our books. It's how our readers will find us, as well as our newsletters. So we have to do these things, and it's finding a way that is comfortable for you. I'm getting braver, as you know now, at putting my face into social media. I've realised that if my face is in a post, yes, it will get better traction, but it's controlling how I do that. So you can be in front of the camera, but in a way that you want. You choose what you want to be seen in the background. You choose what you want to keep hidden. It's all about, as we know, our readers want to know about us. They want to know about who we are behind the books. But you have your own boundaries. It's, what do you share about family life? What do you share about, if you're posting a photo, what is in the background in your house? You have control of all of that. So it's finding a way that is comfortable for the individual. And some people are really outgoing in it. They'll share everything, and fantastic, that's what's comfortable for them, but it's still manageable if you're not that way inclined. You just set your boundaries, you get into a rhythm that's comfortable for you, and you stick to it, and you learn, and you get more confident as you go. And actually, because I used to think nobody really wants to know what I'm doing. How can people be interested in what I'm doing? It's the books that I'm pushing. But actually, once you get over that mindset, it's there, it's you. It's you they want to know about. It's where you've been, what you're doing, what did you do at the weekend? What's going on in your family life at the moment? I've shared a little bit recently because we've had quite a big thing happen in our family, and that's been shared, but it's been shared on my terms with an image that I was happy to share, that didn't give too much away, but let my readers know that, yeah, something exciting has happened for a member of my family, and this is what we've been doing. So you have to give them, your readers, that little bit of insight, but you can control it. And the more confident you get in your author brand, and it's going back to what I was saying earlier on about, you have this, it's just sitting in here ready to come out, your little skit about you that you have on autopilot now. It gets easier. It gets easier. You get more comfortable doing it. You get to engage with your readers. You discover your readers are lovely people who are genuinely interested in you. We have a trillion authors out there, and they're following you because they want to follow you, and they're following you because they find you interesting. They have grabbed onto your brand and who you are, and that sits with them. You keep going as you are, and you're keeping them.
Mm. And I think this is a really important point about your readers being interested in you as the author, and they get invested in you as the author. It doesn't start and finish with the books themselves. I think this is something that many authors struggle with when they first come to marketing their books. Is I mean, I'm sure you empathize with this, that feeling of wanting to basically hide behind the book and say,
Yes.
put the book in front and say the book will speak for itself. I mean, lots and lots of authors say this to me, but my book will speak for itself. And I always say, well, a book can't speak. You have to do the speaking
To
for
do the
it.
speaking for it. Yes. And I mean, I was like that. I'm not naturally a person to go out and sort of put my face out in media. That's not really where my comfort lies. But if the proof is in the pudding, really, because if I put out a post with my book cover on it, I'll get some reaction. If I put a post out with my face, something to do with the family, my dogs, I get so much more reaction. Like I can get 100% more reaction, you know. So the proof is in the pudding. It's not that my books are not selling, because they are selling. So they're reading the posts, they're reading them, and they're not interacting on those because they know about your books. They've been following you. They know that book's there. They don't have to react to that post, but they are reacting when you put something different about you on. And it can be as simple as a sort of a screenshot of you sitting in the car, you're away to drive to an event or something like that. You find somewhere comfortable where you are to taking a photo of yourself. I do that quite often, just sitting, I'm behind the wheel, got a photo here. The shading of the house next door and the fence and everything gives a really kind lighting. So that's why I will do it there. So you find where your comfort is. Are you out walking with the dogs? Are you walking up the street? Are you sitting in a restaurant? Wherever you are that's comfortable, that you can just do a little quick selfie and get it out there. And you don't have to give a whole spiel about what you're doing and why you're there, just a little bit, and you're giving your reader an insight into you, not into your life, because you have your boundaries. You set your boundaries and you stick to them. That also makes it easier for you to share. But definitely, if I put a post out with my books, I'm not getting as much interaction as I am
Mm.
when it's a face of my face or something to do with the house and the family. But they are still reading your posts. They are still seeing your books. So that, yeah, the proof is there.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I'm really, really glad you shared that, because it's that feeling of when people feel like I'm just keep posting about my books, and it's going into an abyss, and I'm not getting anything back. I'm not getting any response. But to remember that people are seeing it, they
Uh,
are reading.
yeah,
Just because they don't
yeah.
respond to that particular post doesn't mean that it's
Doesn't mean,
going
yeah.
somewhere.
And also, for anybody who's worried about that, look at your analytics. If you go in, you get feedback on your social media posts, and Facebook will come back and tell you as well. I when I get my sort of, they give you weekly stats, and when I look at them, about 40% of the people who have seen my posts are followers. 50% are not followers. They are new people that I have reached.
Mm.
So it spreads. It's, the tentacles spread. You're just not seeing it. It's in the metaverse somewhere. We can't, and it's hard to imagine that's happening because we're not physically seeing it. But just a little look at your analytics can just sort of boost your confidence a little bit and sort of say, "Ah, right, okay, this is, it's organic. We're reaching organic readers here.
Mm.
And so keep doing what you're doing. It's working."
Yes. So, I mean, one question I had for you was, which again, I think in the kind of author communities out there, lots of authors, especially when they're new to the whole marketing and publicity world, they imagine that they've got to be lucky. Luck has to play a part in how successful their books are going to be. If they have a great book, then it's going to be down to luck as to whether they gather readers and make sales. What would you say to that? Do you think luck plays a part, or how much should
I,
authors?
I would say, okay, so luck plays a part to an extent, and because luck is how your pitch has been taken, or who has seen it, or who has seen whatever it is that you have pitched or you have posted. So that bit can be luck. But why have they grabbed your pitch? Why have they seen you? That's not luck. That is the work that you have put in the background. That is the work that the author has put in nailing their brand, in nailing how they pitch, in nailing how they portray their brand across social media. That's not luck. That is hard work. It's making sure they're doing it right. It's being in control of their author business. And that's something, I mean, I talk about that even when I go in to do children's event in schools. And I'm talking to little kids. Even there, I'm saying you take your writer hat off, you put your business hat on, because you are at the same time running a business. And if you want to be taken seriously, if you want your books to reach where you want them to reach, you've got to treat it as a business and treat it seriously. So yes, luck to a degree, because you've pitched this post and the right person has seen it. But why did you pitch it to that person? You had to know to pitch it to that person. And you've had to nail your pitch for them to entertain it. It has had to come across professionally for them to have even entertained it. It has had to have the hook that suits them for them to have entertained it. So I guess luck could be that you didn't just fall into the spam folder, or you didn't just get deleted in a whole mass of emails. That's maybe the luck part. But there is a reason that they have found you, that they have seen you, and that is down to your content, your brand, and how you have pitched it or how you have posted it out on social media. So yeah, luck, but no, there's a lot more goes on in the background before luck can strike.
If authors said to you, so what's the one thing that they should be doing to start, or to get themselves from where they are to somebody who's selling books, knows their reader, knows their author brand, is kind of confidently putting themselves out there? What's one thing that you would tell them to go
They
and do?
they they have to they have to absolutely understand who they are as an author and where they fall into in the publishing world, in the world of readers, and that all comes down to nailing their author brand. If you know your author brand, you have the confidence to move forward, you know where to pitch, you know the readers to look for, you know the outlets to pitch to. knowing that was the turning point for me, knowing my brand and who I was and where I sat within the publishing world, within from a business point of view, but where I sat within a reader's world. You've got to know that before you can move forward. So find out who you are, understand who you are, know your brand, and then the doors open, the routes become available, routes that you didn't know were there, but because you understand yourself and you know where you're coming from, where you want to go, who you want to reach, then you know what doors to knock on.
Thank you so much. I think you've shared a huge amount there that I know is going to give some authors food for thought and be an inspiration for them. So, where can authors and readers find you?
They
Yeah.
can find me, I'm all across social media, I'm either Pauline Tait author or Pauline Tait author and writing mentor, the usual Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, LinkedIn, I'm there. My website, www.paulinetait.com, website has everything, children's books, romantic suspense and the mentoring side. So yeah, I'm there. If you Google, you'll find me.
Anna's Promise is available now to buy, and that's part of the Marin series.
Yeah, part of the Marin Bay series that came out just a couple of months ago. So that's, yeah, I've just finished I had a Watersons tour with the launch of that one, and then I went straight into a Watersons tour with the children's books, with it being the summer holidays here in Scotland, and I finished that on Saturday actually in the flagship store on Princes Street in Edinburgh. So yeah, so you'll find me across social media, you'll find my books in the usual places, Watersons, the Big A, Barnes and Noble, they're there worldwide, and they're there. All the lovely little independent bookshops can get them, so we can support local.
Marvelous, excellent. Well, Pauline, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your journey with us. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure to come on. Thank you very much.